about geography, there's this little island called Ceuta, and it belongs to Spain. And last night it was assaulted by hundreds of thousands of doctors and engineers from Morocco. You see, what happened a couple of weeks ago is that the Morocco king, Mohammed V, I believe, he opened the prisons. He pardoned a lot of people. This, of course, is probably not tied to the wave after wave of asylum seekers that now have went into Spain, but it's interestingly enough to mention. And so you can see Arch here asking, what precisely is the difference between this and the zombie movie? And I'm actually a little bit disappointed. And I would say I'm a little bit shocked over the fact that Arch doesn't know the difference. And I believe I can tell him. Number one, Arch, the zombies do not ask for welfare. Like, you can actually have zombies in a country and you don't have to spend a single dollar on paying for them. Secondly, you can actually do self-defense against zombies. Like, zombies have no NGOs, they have no journalists, they have no academics on their side. Most people understand that if a zombie attacks you and you promote self-defense, it's actually fine. You may even be congratulated by the community. And finally, and this is very important, zombies do not take away your freedom. You see, migrants, they bring some of that rich diversity, the thing that Western civilization lacks. And that is censorship. Because everywhere you have migrants, you have hate speech laws immediately following and crackdowns. And so if you have a nation invaded by zombies, as bad as that may be, at least the citizens aren't suppressed when discussing the zombie invasion. Like, you're not actually being told to shut the fuck up, or that's racist, or that you can go to jail. And so I hope Arch now understands the difference, right? Like, in a zombie apocalypse, all of those don't happen. In a migrant situation, all of the things do get triggered. Now, what I find fascinating is that, as you can see for yourselves, right, like your naked eyes are showing you what's happening. Apparently, this is what the media considers Russian disinformation. Like, this is Putin's propaganda by showing people unedited images of what's taking place. The correct way of getting yourself informed is through the mainstream media. And the mainstream media usually places a big titty woman in front of you to explain to you what's happening, to tell you how you should feel about this, and more importantly, to tell you what to think. And so this lady who is speaking in Mexican,
mujeres, niños que están cruzando.
She's talking about the mujeres, right? Mujeres and niños, the women and children, right? Women and children who are crossing by swimming. And so let's look at these children that she's talking about.
A nado podemos ver que están mojados. La frontera del Tarajal. Esta mañana se ha producido una situación crítica.
Okay, this must be a 5-year-old boy, right? It might be a toddler.
Había un centenar de personas.
Look, another one, right? Like these must be Californian children. These must be anime tourists. 17-year-old to be children. And so, maybe by this definition, this guy fits, you know, he's but a little child. He's but a little child. Please don't sexualize it. He's 17. He's probably 17, right? Like just a little kid. Here's another one.
Vemos a muchísimos niños, Sandra,
right? The niños.
Esta
look at this niños, right? Like another child, right? Like the press has correctly identified this innocent 6-year-old boy that is just going to Spain and search for a better life, but unfortunately he's going to discover white supremacy, because I understand, you know, Western nations, they have a colonial heritage and they're evil. And this is Spain having to wash away their sins. And I'm not kidding, like, this is one of the arguments that I have seen a lot of leftists making. The idea is that Spain, many, many years ago, before any of us were born, they have committed the ultimate sin. They have invested a lot in research, technology, the ability to sail the ocean, how to navigate based on stars, how to build ships that do not sink in storms, how to form strong militaries, unit cohesion, a national ideology. And because of that, they could conquer other people. And because they conquered other people, people today are now evil. And the only way to wash away the evilness is to allow themselves to be conquered by others, right? And the sperm of the Moroccan can actually wash away the taint of white supremacy. I'm not kidding. Like, there are leftists on Twitter that unironically think like this. They have gone, beyond scientific racism into like this mystical type of racism. I think like they're in the Goebbels universe. I'm not kidding. Like, anyone that actually read Goebbels, like not someone that just, listened to the mainstream media that Goebbels is bad, like genuinely wanted to see what Goebbels had to say, you would realize that his racism was very mystical in nature. Very similar to the leftists that I see on Twitter today. The only disagreement that they have is that for Goebbels, the white sperm, the German sperm, would purify. And here you have the opposite. It's like, no, listen. The Moroccan sperm can purify. But like, the idea is this, right? Like, if you're a straight white man, you're evil. And so you need to have diverse children so that at least your children get to have less sin. You think I'm joking. I'm not. This is what people on Pedo Sky are actually saying. This is what they think. This is their ideology. I'm just describing it, right? I'm not making it as I go. But anyway, apparently, 20 people have died. Now, I will be honest about this, and I will point out that there is a little bit of misinformation going on because some of those 20 people that have died are the migrants themselves that were crossing. But let me put it this way. 50,000 people don't just wake up one morning and say, let's go over the border. Like, all of this has to be organized. You don't understand. Like, when you have tens of thousands of people moving around the country, they cannot feed themselves. Like, they're an army. They require logistics. Like, let me explain to you why, because most people probably don't even think about it, right? But imagine you're traveling with 10,000 other people. Now, you're going through a town and you get hungry, right? Now, what do you do when you're in a town and you get hungry? You go to the supermarket or you go to a restaurant, right? Like, you eat. But what happens when 6,000 other people before you had the same idea? Even if they pay for what they took, the supermarkets will be empty. The restaurants will be empty. Like, this is what happens. It's like it's kind of like a locust group, right? Like, that's what militaries do. That's what, like, huge groups of populations do when they travel. They consume, right? And so, in order to move people in such vast numbers across huge areas, you need a very good logistic train. Like, you need people with actual expertise in order to figure out how to do it. And it's not just the food, there's the gas, it's everything. Like, if you drive a car, right? And you're in a huge group of people, of tens of thousands, eventually you run out of gas. And so you want to stop at a gas station, but like 7,000 other people stopped at the same gas station. The gas station is out of gas. The concept that has just happened one day, like people woke up and decided to storm the Spanish border, is beyond ridiculous. Like, this is planned. And I gotta say, historically speaking, pushing your people into other nations is how conquest was done. The idea is you push your colonists, you push your people into another culture, into another nation, and then decades later you claim that your people are being oppressed, and now you have a reason to intervene, or now you have a reason to summon the international community in order to help you. This is how Texas was made. Like, the United States pushed its own colonists, and then they managed to have a war with Mexico. Like, what I'm saying is not evil. This is how it's done. Like, literally, it's nation building, right? And so, like, people that are looking at this and they don't see what's happening is because they are uneducated. They do not know history. They do not know that this is how it's done. Like, if I was to be in place of Morocco, this is exactly how I would do it. Now, you may say, and I've seen a lot of people saying, that the Jews are to blame. The Jews. Like, the Jews are the solution to every problem. When you don't know why something happening, is the Jews. And so if you go on X right now, people are blaming the Jews. Why do they blame the Jews? Well, as we can see here, there are a lot of Jewish politicians and Jewish leaders that are basically boasting about what's happening, right? So they say, my congratulations to President of the Government of Spain for his profound commitment to welcoming immigrants and human diversity. As someone who demonstrates great concern for Hamas and the residents of Gaza, I call on you to translate words into action, open the doors of Spain, and grant refugees to the residents of Gaza. There are also pictures of the thumbnail I posted with the two-state solution for Spain, right? Morocco and Spain on the other hand. I have seen other individuals basically saying, how about we, as Israel, stop funding NGOs that encourages Moroccans to go in Spain when Spain stops funding NGOs that encourage Palestine to come into Israel. And so the situation seems to be geopolitical in nature because Spain, a couple of months ago, have actually supported Gaza and they have supported Palestine. But more importantly, when the United States wanted to use the islands that Spain has American military bases and part of NATO agreements and whatnot, in order to invade Iran, Spain said no. And this upset Israel, it upset Marco Rubio, it upset many people. And at the time, they basically talked about this particular island that Spain had, and they suggested that maybe Morocco should push it. And now Morocco is pushing it. Now, whether or not this is actually coordinated or it's just like it's happening and America and Israel are happy that it's happening, we don't know. But what we do know is what Epictetus teaches. Epictetus is one of my favorite philosophers. Epictetus was a slave in the Roman Empire, and he made a philosophy on how to avoid suffering. So he didn't try to fix the world. He didn't try to make the world a better place. He didn't try to figure out the mysteries of the universe. He just tried to figure out how to minimize suffering. And Epictetus teaches that there are two things in the world. Things that we can affect and things that we cannot affect. And so there is no point in focusing on the things that we cannot affect because it consumes our energy and it causes suffering. We have a limited amount of energy that should actually be devolved to things we can affect. We cannot affect how America and Israel feels about Spain and Morocco. But Spanish people can absolutely affect how their leaders feel about borders. Spanish people can cry, bitch, and moan about Israel 24/7. They can do the same about America. That's fine. Nothing will happen. But the Spanish are the ones paying taxes to fund their own politicians. They are the ones supporting the politicians. And so when you have a politician that has legitimized 500,000 migrants and made them Spanish, surely you realize that this may have a couple of consequences. Like you're basically telling people that your welfare state is open for everyone. Like the taxpayer can just pay more and more people can come in and benefit from that and even vote in your election. So why on earth wouldn't more people then join Spain if they see that this is the policy? America and Israel would not be able to do this to the Soviet Union. I have a feeling. Like if you were to send tens of thousands of people over the Berlin Wall, the Soviets would not have a problem. The Soviets would have fixed the problem within 24 hours. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what Israel and America wants to do regarding this issue. If a nation state doesn't want to have its borders violated, a modern nation state does not have its borders violated, period. Now, of course, the current prime minister is upset. Now, people are upset he doesn't call the military. I understand why he doesn't call the military. I wouldn't call the military either. Because the purpose of a politician, do you know what it is? Is to get re-elected. This is the business plan of every single politician around the world. This is what they want to do, to get re-elected. A leftist politician that calls the military on migrants does not get the right-wing vote because he is leftist. A right-winger would never vote for a leftist politician. And so if he does call the military, he loses his own leftist vote. And so this is why they don't call the military. It is what it is. Like, Just because I understand what's happening and the moral justification doesn't mean that I agree with it. I would have called the military. But they decided not to. And so now the consequences are pretty bad, right? Like there are people which are showing pictures of individuals walking on the streets with katanas. Katanas. Do you know how we call katanas in Romania? How the journalists, how the media calls the katana? A ninja sword. I kid you not, it's like a ninja sword. Now, I understand from enlightened European technocrats that this is Russia propaganda, right? So this is Russia propaganda. This is Putin, basically, right? Like Putin is doing this. Putin is showing this. This is Putin as well. Putin is everywhere. And now Putin is, even in the United States, poisoning the speakers like Nick Fuentes and other right-wingers and even the politicians in the US to also spew the propaganda that this is an invasion and blah, 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 right? Because people in Europe are not right-wingers, according to the European Union. People in Europe are very diverse, embracing, very tolerant, right? Like not a single citizen in the European Union looks at this and dislikes it. However, I am sad to say that Ursula von der Leyen has fallen to Russian propaganda. Look, the images coming from Ceuta are unacceptable. But like I thought that the images coming from Ceuta are from Putin. Right? And now Ursula von der Leyen is saying that they're unacceptable. We cannot allow anyone to come to our union without abiding by our rules. Very interesting. A couple of weeks ago, not even months, a couple of weeks ago, there was an act that tried to be pushed in the European Union to keep Europe European. The European Union, no. Absolutely not. Like, what do you mean keep Europe European? No. Now, apparently, they want to keep Europe European. Very interesting. I will tell you why, because I think I know why. When they get Somalians in, they get people that come from a failed state. Like Somalia is not an international player. It doesn't control trade routes around the world. It doesn't have a strong navy. Morocco, however, is not a first world country, but it has allies. It has money, it has finances, and it has a stable government. They do not want Moroccans to come in record numbers. They want Somalians. And so this is why they're upset. Interesting, right? But what I also find fascinating is that one of the reasons that Romania was constantly told that we cannot enter the Schengen area. So for those of you Americans who do not know what the Schengen area is something that you have in the United States. Like when you go from Texas to another state, you do not get checked at the border. You do not, right? Unless you're Kyle Rittenhouse and you can't carry weapons across state lines. But usually Americans can cross state lines willy-nilly, right? Like they don't have to, right? That's the Schengen area for Europe. Like you can literally cross state lines if you're in the Schengen area. Romania couldn't get into the Schengen area because we don't secure the border, right? So like if 100 Russians come into Romania, then they can basically go anywhere in the European Union. Because if Romania were to be in the Schengen area, according to Austria, then those 100 Russians can just go into Austria. And the danger is that you don't screen them. Like you don't know who they are. They could be spies. They could be terrorists. They could be saboteurs. They could be pedophiles. They could be decent citizens. But we don't know. We don't know because we don't scan them, right? And so when you have like tens of thousands of people, like, are these not spies? Are these not saboteurs? Are these not people with criminal convictions? Maybe they are decent citizens, but we don't know. Why don't we know? Well, because they're not vetted. Like, no one has asked these individuals who they are. Do you have a criminal record? Have you paid your taxes? Right? We don't know. Okay. I saw another leftist lady. This one was very ushkushy. She thinks that this is like the fall of the Berlin Wall. Because that's the only time she saw people so happy. It's like when the Berlin Wall has fallen. I do agree. Yes, I think the Berlin Wall should not have fallen. I think the Berlin Wall should have stayed up because the authoritarianism from Eastern Germany has moved to Western Germany. and a lot of parasites, especially those associated with censorship and the authoritarian regime and the Stasi, they managed to get functions in office in Western Germany. And I don't think Western Germany deserved that. So, yeah, I do think that the comparison is pretty apt. Yes, it's like the wall of Berlin, except that the wall should have stayed up. Now, regarding this interesting thing, it's like, well, I mean, the island, look, geographically, it's with Morocco. So if it's with Morocco, then Morocco should have it. First of all, borders don't work that way, right? Secondly, there are many nations that have enclaves or places in other people's countries and they don't get the tax act or, you know. Finally, people are saying, well, Spain was an empire, so it deserves it. They do not know history. They do not know that the Moors, at one point, have conquered almost all of Spain. It's not correct to say Spain because at the time it was called Castile, and I think Aragon or some other Lord of the Rings name. It was the Kingdom of Castile, right? But yes, the Moors, the Muslims, have conquered it, and they butchered people in order to do that. Yes, they did colonialism. Shocking, I know. Brown people can colonize as well. And it took a group of people, a group of Christian knights, to make the Reconquista and reconquer the whole of Spain. So, if this is the logic that empires deserve it, what does Morocco deserve then, huh? Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, we'll see each other in the comment section. Take care.